Hi everybody, Tim Hughes here. I'm the co-founder and CEO of DLA Ignite. With me today I've got Xavier Gomez. I'm really excited to have the session with you today, Xavier, because you are a superstar on social. And anyway, we're going to talk about fintech in 2021, being as it's currently in 2020, and the 5 trends that are shaping the future of the financial industry. So before we get started, Javier, where can people find you?
Thank you for the invitation, Tim. It's a nice pleasure to share some insights with your audience and with the great team talk. Thank you. You can find me on social media, in particular on LinkedIn with my name, Xavier Gomez, and also on Twitter with my ID xbond49, or also Instagram xbond95.
Right. And you are always on social. You're always on social. So if someone else came on here and they said, if they can't find me, then they're not looking hard enough. And it's the same with you.
Of course, as you know, the social media is kind of soft skills now. Clearly, it's a big trend, very important to communicate directly with a large audience, international audience, to share some insight and vision. And as you know, the world is in transition, ecological transition, economical transition, technological transition, and the current media are not very specialist of the big trend. This is the reason why I decided to share directly my insight with you, and use social media with my other colleague and expert around the world.
And you've got a background in banking and that, haven't you? Because you've worked on the trading floor, you've worked in banks, some really big banks, and that's your background, isn't it? Financial services.
Yes, I'm a bloody banker, and I worked during many years as a top management position between London, Paris, Zurich, and Geneva. I was head of trading, head of investment consulting, head of offering. In fact, I share all my career in banking between wealth management and investment banking. And I was a treasurer of Credit Suisse in the worst time of financial history during 2008. And I was a youngster, and I learned a lot during this period. And this is the reason why now I'm decided to move on the future of finance to become entrepreneur. Yeah.
Fantastic. So let's get into the 5 trends shaping the future of the financial industry. So what are they?
Yeah. Today, we see a big trend about the fintech accelerated by COVID-19, and the fintech industry as a whole is reckoning with itself at every level. Every more move they make is accounted for and closely monitored by regulators and in particular customers. Fintech companies are the forefront, especially due to the current scenario with digital transaction taking place higher than ever. And this is a reason why it's interesting period. And in particular in UK, you have the most interesting fintech startups with Revolut, Monzo, Starling Bank, and other fintech. And you can see the importance of this fintech via the valuation, and clearly the trend will go on. And I would like to share with you some key trends I can see in my day-to-day business with my company INVYO. The first trend is clearly invisible payment. Invisible payment take physical payment methods such as cash, debit, and credit cards completely out of the equation, creating a convenient and speedy experience.
Yeah.
The demand for cashless transaction in this pandemic, its economy is expected to create more opportunities for digital wallet operators, clearly. The transactions that are digitally linked will not just help to boost transaction, but will also help the industry in collecting data. And as you know, data is a new oil for 21st century. This data can then be used to offer new services, so creating new revenue streams, providing unbundled offers, and building cost-effective setup for business to grow. Clearly, it's the payment in fintech. The subsector of payments is one of the big key, and you see the big valuation today. In particular,
2 years ago, my partner's son, he would have been 23 then, bought a flat in London. And he came to us and he said, so how do you get a mortgage? And we kind of said, well, you need to go to a mortgage broker and you need to talk to this person. And he said, that sounds like a lot of effort. He said, surely there's an app. And we said, well, maybe there is. And he said, well, actually, there's one here. And he did everything through an app. And this was 2 years ago.
That's true.
And everything that he does from a banking perspective is done through apps. And that's kind of moved us. It's like, if Luke does it, we should be doing it. And it's just amazing how I've actually got to write a check. I've got to find my checkbook, and I'm sure that the last time I wrote a check was probably about 5 years ago. And we actually got paid recently by a check, and we went like, what are we supposed to do with this? We had to walk down the bank and pay it in and stand in the queue. I mean, I'm fuming. Like, why am I having to stand in this queue to pay in a check? And it's actually from a very big organization that should probably know better. But it's amazing the way that cashless transactions are, especially during COVID, are taking over.
Of course, and clearly the main tool of that is the smartphone.
Yes,
it's a smartphone.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, okay, you use your desktop, but you need you need mobility, and you want to transfer money to your family as you put your sockets every morning.
Yeah, I read somewhere, someone said recently that it's the mobile phone is now it's like a remote control for your life. We do. I mean, I live through my mobile phone. It's but partly because it's my work. But yes,
exactly. Lose your mobile phone, you are in trouble in your day.
Oh,
clearly.
Absolutely, yeah.
And the second trend I want to share with you, it's for me another kind of soft skills designed by the World Economic Forum. It's a communication and consumer education.
Right.
As more and more customers get on the digital board, fintechs will have to focus on building trust and consumer engagement, especially given the time when cybersecurity is extremely vulnerable. To be critical and to stay ahead of the competition and other fintech brands, it is necessary to focus on the security along with making the procedure simple for consumers. Communication is one of the major key ways to drive engagement with customers. While the digital payment process might not be new for some segments of consumers, it is entirely a new process for another segment of people. So it becomes the brand's responsibility to build transparency and communication and make the consumers aware of all activities in a simple way so they can understand fraudulent activity beforehand. And in fact, this education to client experience has been done by the GAFA, Facebook, Amazon, Apple, and so on, they help to educate
Yeah.
consumers clearly.
We've never been on an Amazon ad. We've never been on a course to use Amazon. We just use it. The same with Facebook.
Exactly.
And that's become the norm. And someone came to me and said, we have an internal CRM, Nimble. And they said, where's the training course? I said, there isn't one. Well, why not? I said, have you been on the Amazon training course? No. Well, products are like that nowadays. They're intuitive. You just use them.
This is the same for Apple.
Yeah.
When you use for the first time an Apple smartphone, you don't have any using mod. You have to type and move on. That's all. And this is the reason why it's very well designed for that. Some brands are so strong on that. It's super genius. I don't have any word for that. And also communication also includes giving consumer regular updates, sharing clear information with regards to change of policy, polite customer service, and so on. And fintech should also consider going regional or what you name vernacular to connect with a growing of majority of consumers. The more they use technology to their advantage, the stronger the brand they will create, so surviving difficult times. And again, we learn that from big tech. And the most successful big tech is not the big tech from occidental part of the world. It's from emerging market, in particular China, and what we name the bats. Baidu, Alibaba, Tencent, Xiaomi.
Yeah.
Just impressive.
Yes.
You are in the world more or less like Apple, and you do all your life on this brand.
Yeah, we were in Singapore, and there was someone that we were training somebody that had just spent a couple of years in China, and Singapore is a pretty advanced technological country. And she started laughing, and we said, "Why are you laughing?" She said, "I can't believe you're all still using credit cards." And we said, "What do you mean?" She said, "Nobody uses a credit card in China. We all pay through our phone."
Exactly.
And we have to remember that. And then when she explained what WeChat can do, Uber is Uber is great. Uber just copies WeChat functionality. You've been able to order a taxi in the Chinese equivalent of Facebook for what, 7 years, something like that. They are so technologically advanced. Obviously, the playoff is the privacy.
No, exactly, and this is from geopolitical perspective. You can see the fighting between United States and China, and you can see that from the innovation perspective. It's very interesting.
Yes,
very, very interesting, because each state, I promise you, each state will support their player.
Of course.
Sure. For sure. Because the battle is a world battle.
Yeah, I mean, America is talking about breaking off Facebook. It won't.
Yeah, they talk, but it will take 10, 15 years to talk, but no broke during this time, and growing, and we will see. But it's very interesting what you said, but because the big tech is now a clear main competitors for financial services sooner or later, because another trend I would like to share with you, because they master very well the platformization, one platform, multi-services. One thing a consumer prefers the most would be multiple service across one platform.
Right.
Many fintech brands have already rolled out this process of offering multiple services across one app, but the increase in offerings of robust solutions through powerful API integration will add on. And in coming months, consumers who need banking services are likely to turn to those financial players who can offer convenience and ease of transactions that is entirely safe and secure. To address this, consumer needs bank cannot do much, but technology can help a lot of in digitalizing consumer demand. And last year, the end of last year, um, I I get the great pleasure to meet the chief transformation officer of JP Morgan in New York,
Wow.
Sonia Wederowski, a wonderful woman, very strong. She worked for the most important bank in each continent.
Right.
Each continent. DBS for Singapore, Standard Chartered in Europe, I think so. JP Morgan in United States, and now she works for McKinsey in Dubai. The most, for me, the most brilliant woman in the world for in finance, and clearly share with me the strategic roadmap of innovation in JP Morgan.
Right.
And clearly, I understood why JP Morgan now is the most powerful bank in the world
Right.
in terms of revenue and in terms of profits. 36 billion of US dollar last year is huge.
It's massive.
It's huge. And what was the strategy? The first was to integrate the right talent. The right talent pick up in Facebook, Amazon, and so on in order to prepare the platformization of retail banking. They take the most brilliant guy. The culture between the old folks of Wall Street and the youngster of Silicon Valley was not simple. But at the end of the day, after many years, they are on the top, clearly, in the world, in the United States. It's very interesting to see the transformation of JP Morgan on that very simple way to take just what is succeed in big tech. And clearly for GP, the main competitors are big tech, not the other bank as today. They clearly change the paradigm. It's very funny. And if you remember, maybe you read in a newspaper a few years ago, 2017, when the Bitcoin reached the all-time high, Jimmy Dimon said, "Okay, it's what he said is a scam or something like that." Now you can see today the level of Bitcoin, but the funny things, it's Goldman Sachs and JP Morgan now since this period worked on blockchain and Bitcoin. And this is the other trend I would like to share with you is blockchain and big data.
Right.
With a big impact. Blockchain has a big impact on the finance. Blockchain and big data are two technologies in full swing, but they are also two complementary technologies. According to many experts, brands adopting burgeoning blockchain technology will benefit the most. Financial services, in particular bank, will be able to reduce fraudulent activities, phishing attacks, and ensure secure payment. One of the other things that the fintech needs to bring their attention to is artificial intelligence, machine learning, and data analytics. As mentioned before, clearly data is the new oil of the 21st century. As all these can help financial services in addressing their key challenges like cost reduction and scrutinize risky transactions. This will help financial services to get a better hold on their offering, reduce fraud, automated trading process, ensure secure payment processing, and so on. The other thing fintech brands need to bring their attention more closely to is data analytics and AI and machine learning. AI, artificial intelligence, is already helping many address the key pressure points, reduce cost, and monitor risk on transaction. According different experts, a financial risk, AI is a projected to reduce operating cost by 30% around 2030. Is huge for the bank as today, because as you know, banking sector has a lot of pressure since 2008 from a regulation perspective, and in the same times you have negative interest rates, in particular in euro, a few years before in US dollar, and also in yen and pound. It's very difficult to earn money for the bank with a traditional product, and you add now the adaptation and the new regulation to pay is it's very challenging. Clearly, this is the reason why they have to invest loudly on AI in order to gain in efficiency. Clearly, and one of the last trend is clearly, as I mentioned, regulations and localizations also. Fintech has always been known for their coming of age of technology, owning towards offering the most convenient and flexible option for consumers. It is not surprising that going forward, financial services will offer a customized and local offering to their customer using data analytics. The more and more advanced in technology financial services adapt to upgrade their strategies, the more growth in this sector is guaranteed. This is just the beginning of a huge market in the upcoming months. A lot of reserve bank, national reserve bank, are rapidly adopting the trend as well by implementing policies to monitor industry more closely. For example, U.S. Federal Reserve, Bank of England, European ECB, the Central Bank of China also, of course. The analytical tools are helping regulators to compare scenarios to avoid potential risk and market-related problem. For example, the financial crisis of 2008 with the fallout of Lehman Brothers, as everybody reminds. As the need and demands for financial transactions are increasing, payment and the banking industry have been evolving also continuously. The best kind of consumer experience and quick responses to regulatory change will matter the most. Now, it is only a matter of time to see how high the fintech market will continue to grow and at what scale. This is a reason why it's a very interesting period, in particular with COVID-19. They accelerate a lot of things.
Sure.
Clearly.
Javier, that's been fantastic. So the 5 points being consumer financial communication education, payment invisible, platform of financial services, blockchain and big data, and location and regulations. What a whiz through, but all of those really important for fintech. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Tim, for this nice talk, and I hope to share other trends in 2021.
Yeah, and you're coming back for most definitely. So because it's just good stuff, and people. I've worked in pretty much every industry bar financial services, or sold to those industries. So for me, it's always amazing because it's an industry that I've never actually worked to, and there's so much change taking place, and COVID has accelerated that so much. I mean, I've got cash in my pocket that I took out of the bank. So for those watching, it's currently December 2020, and I've got cash in my pocket which I took out the cash point machine in March, which is 9 months ago, and I just haven't used it because no one wants to touch cash. You've got to use credit cards. It's such a change.
Exactly. This is just the beginning of trend, maybe of cashless society we will see in coming months and years.
Absolutely. So Javier, thank you so much. Remind people where they can get hold of you.
Thank you so much, Tim.
So where can people get hold of you on what's your Twitter and your LinkedIn?
Yes, my Twitter ID is xbond49. On LinkedIn, you can type Xavier Gomez with a Z and INVYO, my company, INVYO. And on Instagram, my ID is xbond95. Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you so much for coming on and sharing your insight today, Javier. It's been fantastic. And have a wonderful Christmas.
Yes. Happy Christmas to everybody.
And stay safe.
You too, my dear.
Thank you.
The COVID-19 is not finished, clearly.
It's not. Thank you so much, Javier. Thank you so much for today.
Thank you.